Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Enjoy English School. I'm Bruce.
大家好，我是 Bernice.
Today we have the first of another two-day lesson. Bernice and I earlier in the month had a two-day program on reality television shows. Today we are in our Good Eats section of the monthly magazine that you have. And today and tomorrow we'll be talking about bak kut teh, a Southeast Asian staple.
好，今天呢，我跟 Bruce 老师呢，从刚才的真人实境节目，我们要跳到吃的东西来了。我们来享受一下一些美食吧。今天讲到的美食呢，是这个东南亚的主食 staple， 就是它的主食，叫做肉骨茶。
Okay, today is the first day of this. Let's take a look at our material for today. First paragraph. In the city of Klang, Malaysia, it's not uncommon for locals to eat the same dish for breakfast each and every morning, bak kut teh. So we're now in Malaysia in Southeast Asia. And it's not uncommon means it is common. It's no surprise. It's usual for the local people, which we can just call locals, to eat the same dish for breakfast each and every morning. Well, I've never done that. I like variety, but they are very happy with their favorite dish or breakfast dish, bak kut teh.
好，所以呢，我们接下来就进入到马来西亚这个地方。这个地方呢，在它的一个城市里面叫做巴生市。好，这个城市里面呢，他们的当地人呢做了一件事情，蛮可爱的，就是说非常的常见。好 ，not uncommon， 就是说它很常见，也没有什么好惊讶的，每天都是这样子做的。就是他们的当地人呢，都喜欢吃同一道菜。好，而且是每一天每一餐的早餐都是吃这个东西，就是所谓的肉骨茶呀，所以每天都吃也不会腻，好厉害哦。
This beloved dish, with mostly unknown origins, is based on a strong, fragrant pork broth. It's a beloved dish. The people love it very, very much. It's very special. Now, this is odd, with mostly unknown origins. That doesn't mean ingredients. You will find out what the ingredients are, but no one is quite sure where this dish comes from or even when it started. But we do know that the dish has a lot of varieties, but all of them are based on, most of them have in common, a strong fragrant is nice smelling. Pork, we don't say pig meat in English. We say pork. A broth is a thick, not so thick. It's a soup, but just very watery soup. It's the opposite of stew, S-T-E-W, which is very, very thick and heavy, but broth is very light.
好，接下来呢，我们讲一下这一个肉骨茶，为什么马来西亚人每天早餐都吃这个呢？因为他们非常非常热爱这个 beloved， 就是他们非常钟爱的不得了的这一道菜。那这个很奇怪的就是，这道菜它的起源没有人知道，基本上来讲呢，不是这么样的了解哈 ，unknown 就 mostly unknown， 就大部分人其实不太了解到底这个肉骨茶从何而来。可是呢，至少知道就是说呢，它里面呢的这个味道呢，好，主要是基于哪些味道呢？第一个，它的味道非常的浓郁，非常的强烈，而且它的 fragrant 就是闻起来非常的香味的。那 pork 就是老师刚才讲的猪肉。那接下来这个字是汤的意思，但这个汤是比较清汤的，不像 stew 的话就是比较是浓汤的感觉。
Right. Okay, let's take a short break before we continue.
好的，我们来休息一下咯。
Okay, welcome back. we have our second paragraph now. Remember, this is only the first day of our 2-day lesson on Bak Kut Teh, a Southeast Asian staple. Now we're going to talk about ingredients rather than origins. Mm-hmm. The exact ingredients depend to a large extent. Here we can just say mostly. Depend mostly not only on the regional influences where the dish is prepared. Even in just one country, you can have different styles of the same dish. Mm-hmm. Think of spaghetti or pizza. There's not just one kind in Italy or other countries. Mm-hmm. So the regional influences of a particular vendor. A vendor is simply a seller of anything, but also on individual preference. So some regions in Malaysia, they may add more of this or add a completely different ingredient from others. Others, it depends on the cook or the vendor. Usually they're the same person here. He has his favorite style. She has her favorite style of making Bak Kut Teh.
好，我们接下来呢就来看一下这个肉骨茶里面的 ingredients， 就是它的一些食材。它的食材呢，最确切的食材呢，其实主要呢 to a large extent， 就是我们刚刚讲 mostly， 大部分呢，它主要是取决于，所以这边的 depend on 被那个 to a large extent 放在中间。好，那其实它是用 depend on， 然后插入在中间的。然后接下来我们看到一个句型，就是同学在以前学过的 not only but also， 不但怎么样，而且也怎么样。好，不但呢，它的食材是取决于当地地区各个地区的一些 influences， 一些他们的影响。受到谁的影响呢？主要就是 particular 一些独特的一些 vendor 就是老师刚才说的 seller， 就是卖这个肉骨茶的人。比如说可能有的地区的人他喜欢吃辣的，他可能就在肉骨茶里面加一些辣椒啦或等等的。那同时呢也取决于 individual， 就是个人的一些 preference。 所谓的 preference 就是偏好，比如说有的人可能喜欢肉骨茶咸一点啊，他可能多加一些酱油或什么东西的，所以他都有不同的人，不同的贩卖者，所以他的口味也不一样。
Still, nonetheless, on the other hand, the one thing that remains consistent, the one thing that remains the same or in common of all these different dishes is the presence of pork bones, fatty meat, and a flavorful broth. So the one thing in common, here they say the presence of, it simply means it has. The ingredients must include pork bones, fatty meat, and that will be pork, and a flavorful broth. The soup part is very, very tasty.
这边的 still 的意思就是我们在另外一方面，而且还有另外一件事情呢，就是什么事情呢？一样是非常保持 consistent。 我们知道这个字当形容词原本就是一贯的，始终如一的，也就是说大家都保持一致的。这件事情呢，它就是一个什么样的 presence， 就是一个存在。这个存在的事情呢，就是它里面所有的肉骨茶里面，不管你要什么样的口味，但是里面一定会有的，一定一致性保持一致的，就是包含第一个你要有猪骨头，然后第二个你要有肥肥的猪肉，然后再来呢，你的那个汤呢一定要非常的美味，闻起来很香的汤。所以这三样东西呢，是所有的这个卖的人呢通通都保持一致性的。
Your description makes me hungry.
然后所以呢 Bruce 老师已经饿了。
Okay, so let's take a break and I'll go outside and see if I can find some.
我们现在去吃肉骨茶了。
Okay, we're back, and we're looking at our third paragraph now. Like many regional dishes, both Malaysia and Singapore claim the origin of Bak Kut Teh. Regional dishes, I just mentioned pizza is different in northern Italy and in southern Italy. So's the spaghetti. Those are regional dishes. It's the same dish, but prepared in different styles. Well, there's a kind of contest between Malaysia and Singapore. Both of them say, hey, this dish started with us. If you want the real bak kut teh, you will try ours.Yes.
It's okay. 我现在翻一下这个句子。他说呢，刚才一开始说这个regional dishes， 我们就讲说所谓的地方美食嘛。那刚才我们前面一段也提过啦。你是同样一道食材，但是你在不同的地区呢，你有不同的调味的方式，或者你里面可能加了一些不一样的东西，但是呢，它还是肉骨茶 ，OK？ 那所以他说呢，这边我们讲的这个 regional dish 就是指在马来西亚啦，还有新加坡。那这两个地方呢，他们都 claim， 他们都声称，他们都主张说，我的肉骨茶才是道地的肉骨茶，你要吃肉骨茶就是要到我们这个地方来，要不
他们是假的。
对，好，所以他们认为他们都这是肉骨茶的起源地，就是在他们的这个地方。
However, it was most likely an import from immigrants arriving from China's Fujian province. So it's actual, most likely, nobody really knows the origin, but it looks like from language or the custom of people eating in Fujian across the Taiwan Strait from Taiwan.
Yep.
Immigrants from that area, they went into many countries in Southeast Asia, and people usually take the food they like along with them.
好，那所以呢，接下来 however 就是一个转折的感觉。可是呢，其实大家知道这个肉骨，因为刚才我们一开始讲到肉骨茶，它实际上的起源其实大家也不是那么样的清楚。可是比较有可能呢，它是从哪里进来的 import， 就是它是进口的。它进口的这个地点呢，是从一群这个移民者，就是入境的这些移民者。那他那个时候呢，他们就是入境到这个，他们是中国福建的这个移民，就是可能他们到了这个福建，中国的福建那边去吃到这个东西了，然后他们就把这样的一个福建省这个移民的这个食材呢，就带进来了。
So what is the evidence? What's the proof that it's most likely from Fujian? The next sentence tells us it's heavy use of pork. That means there's a lot of pork in this dish, and that is the most popular meat in China, along with traditional Chinese herbs and spices. It's beginning to look like there really is a Chinese dish. Mushrooms, another very popular vegetable used in Chinese cooking. And tofu, come on, that's definitely Chinese.
Yes.
All of this seems to support this theory, the theory that this dish originally is from China's Fujian province.
好，接下来我们就看一下为什么是从中国福建进来的，它的起源是在那儿呢？下面就是它的一个证明了。他说，第一个，首先这个肉骨茶里面他们使用非常非常多的猪肉，好，就是可能那个猪肉的量呢，整个盖在那个碗的上面，而且还有呢 ，along with 就是还有呢这个传统的一些我们中国使用的一些中药材啦，好 herbs 就是一些中药材，还有一些这个香料，然后还有呢 mushrooms 就是我们讲的香菇，最后当然就是我们中国人最爱吃的豆腐了。那从这些食材里面我们都可以看得出来 seems to 就是似乎呢已经 support 已经支持了这样的一个 theory， 就是这样的一个推论。这个推论就是确实肉骨茶的起源应该就是从中国福建省开始的。
Okay, we mentioned the word herbs here. In British English, the same word is pronounced herbs. They use the sound of the H. Mayo, what we say herbs.
所以美式英语跟这个英式英语的发音还是有一些差异的哈，就是刚才那个 H 的发音，英式是发出来 H 这个的音，那么美式是没有的。
Okay, let's take a short break before we finish up.
好的，我们休息一下咯。
We're getting ready to complete the first of a 2-day lesson on Bak Kut Teh, a Southeast Asian staple. Staple is a food that is either very popular and common, or people actually depend on it, like rice here in East Asia, like corn in the United States, and so on. Okay, let's take a look. The name, however, Bak Kut Teh, is from the Hokkien dialect of Chinese. Now, there's another reason. The origin of this dish is probably from southern China. It means meat bone tea, though tea is not actually one of the ingredients. So we're looking at more reasons to suppose that this dish that we're featuring today and tomorrow is a Chinese dish.
好，接下来我们就一样来看一下这个东南亚的主食肉骨茶了。他说啊，这个名字啊，就是肉骨茶这个名字是怎么来的 ？However， 不过呢，这个肉骨茶的名字呢，确实就是来自于这个中国福建的这个方言。好，它的这个话就是呢，念到这个肉骨茶，那它的意思呢，就是如果翻成英文呢，就是我们讲的 meat bone tea， 好，就直接这样子翻肉骨茶，对。但是呢，这个茶本身 though 就是尽管如此，这个 tea 本身啊，并不是真的就是放在其中的一个食材，也就是肉骨茶里面没有茶叶，没有喝茶这个东西，然后它只是这个茶应该就像那个汤的感觉啊，它的那个 broth 的感觉，所以它叫肉骨茶。
Okay, and our last sentence for today's lesson.Instead, rather than what we just said, it's suspected or it's supposed that the tea in the phrase meat bone tea actually refers to oolong tea, which is often served with the dish as a way to balance out the fat from the fatty pork. Now, remember that tea is not an ingredient of the dish, but when people eat this dish of soup, a kind of soup, they also drink tea because oolong tea, how do you say it? It's very light.
对，非常的淡，那清淡的汤。
And the fatty meat is quite the opposite. So there's a balance between heavy and light.
没错，所以这个讲到我们 heavy 跟 light 刚好是两个相反的字嘛，哈，所以就是一个口味比较重一点，因为肉骨茶我们刚才讲了，它的汤啊，还有它的味道都非常的浓郁，所以呢，可能你喝了一些茶之后呢，就是有那种 balance 的感觉。所以这边就讲到了 instead 就是反而啦，哈，反而怎么说呢？这件事情被人家suspected 就是被人家这样的猜测，就是说到底为什么会有 tea 这个字出现，就是因为事实上呢，它主要 refers to 就是它 mean 它的意思指的就是乌龙茶。那乌龙茶并不是肉骨茶里面的一个 ingredient， 就是它不是食材，但是呢，它是用来被提供给就是你要吃肉骨茶的这些人，当做一种方式来怎么样呢？来 balance out the fat， 我们就是讲这个消脂一下啊，就是说因为你吃了这样子比较浓的味道的东西呢，你可能会觉得是不是我会变胖呢？好，还是怎么样？所以喝点乌龙茶，似乎有这种比较清爽消脂的一个感觉。
Okay, we'll take a very short break. When we come back, I have a couple of words for you to learn more about.
好的，等一下 Bruce 老师会有提供更多的字可以学习咯，我们来休息一下了。
Okay, we have some special words for your review for this lesson. If you remember in the third paragraph, we talked about the dish was most likely an import from immigrants arising from China's Fujian province. Immigrant. Notice the spelling. I-M-M-I and then G-R-A-N-T. The opposite, if you leave your country, then you emigrate. But be careful, there's only one M in emigrate. E-M-I-G-R-A-T-E. Immigrate. A foreigner comes into our country. He is an immigrant. Migrate is the stem verb. However, if we talk about migrating, we're usually referring to animals, not people. Many species of birds are famous for migrating from summer to winter and living in different places. The word migrant, M-I-G-R-A-N-T, a migrant usually refers to a person from another country. They may go to your country, but only for a particular period of time, or they work seasonally. They pick vegetables in this season, and they do something else in another season. So check your dictionary and be careful of the spellings.
OK, 所以刚才老师讲了很多移民者的字哈。如果是 I 开头的这个字呢，就是指你移民到这个某个国家里面来。那你如果是 E 开头那个字，是指你从你的国家移民到别人的国家去。所以这两个我们中文都是翻移民者。然后另外一个 migrate 是指迁徙，迁徙就是讲鸟类啦或者是动物类的。那另外一个那个 migrant 那个字主要是指比如说你可能暂时的去别人的国家，比如说你是工作或者你是去采买一些什么样的食材，所以你只是短暂的待在人家的国家。所以这些字呢，同学都可以去字典里面把这些字再重新的看一下它的例句，可以更了解这些字的用法。
That's it for today. We have another lesson, though, as we continue talking about this great dish, bak kut day. Till tomorrow.
Bye.